All right, we are live. It's the Over Under podcast for March 4th. Dan Lifshatz is here. I'm Joe Murray. It's a Thursday night. People are already betting today with college basketball and the tournaments already. We got the couple of NBA games tonight and then a few days off before the NBA All-Star weekend. There's some hockey games tonight. There's a weekend full of stuff as well, and we have a Saturday show. We'll probably talk about a ton of stuff on that day. I know that there's 3 UFC fights that night, so that could be something to talk about at some point on the Saturday show. All right, Dan, it's a new week. Last Thursday, I didn't do well on the picks I gave out and then hit every single Pac-12 game.
Yeah, we did very well with the Pac-12 on Thursday. Unfortunately, neither of those, but we jumped back on it this weekend. We had a very nice. Was it Saturday? I think we went 9-1, so that was a nice little day for us.
Yeah. I think the only game I lost this weekend was I didn't post it, but I had Ohio State over Iowa. I can't figure out Iowa. One day they're on, one day they're off, and then Ohio State's now slipping. So, but it's what happens when you only have 2 good players, and some of these other teams step up during those times. So, let's see. All right, you guys can get it going here. We'll take your chats. I'm in my basement with my heater. It's starting to heat me up pretty good here.
Nice.
So where would you like to start, Dan? I know the NBA is hot right now. I know there's some teams that are truly on a roll right now, including your Brooklyn Nets that are looking outstanding. I know the Celtics and Raptors play tonight at 7. Clippers against the Wizards. Wizards have been pretty good. The Knicks, can they cover again in the first half? That seems to be one, that seems to be one of the big plays that have been real hot. Nuggets travel to Orlando. You got the Bucks with a high total of 234 tonight. Heat Pelicans is another one. The Spurs play the Thunder, and then the Kings stink against the Blazers. And in the nightcap, you get the Warriors and the Suns for Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the NBA card is filled tonight. I've seen, everyone and their mother is on the Celtics tonight. That's always gets it always gets a little scary when everyone is on the same side in these things. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, the whole boat is filling up with with stuff like that. So I mean, I'm a little nervous. There isn't an NBA game I totally love. I'll go with the closest one to me, which is the early game, the Clippers Wizards game. The total sitting there at 236. I think that's pretty fucking low for, especially for these two teams, right, Joe? To me, I look at this. I'm personally like the over with these two. You know what? Let's PP it for tonight. You listen early. You get the PPs for Thursday. Let's PP it. Clippers Wizards over 236.
Wow. I was looking at the Celtics total, and when it was 217, I thought under. It's gone up to 220.
I still agree with you. I still think under.
Why is it going up? I'm not really sure.
Well, I mean, there's been a whole bunch of players ruled out for Toronto. Even in the past few hours. So I mean, that's likely the reason. I still think this is an under game. I think this is either blowout city or a close game where the Celtics struggle to score. I mean, that's the way that's the way I personally view it. I don't know about you, but that's the way I'm looking at it.
The under is 8-3. The last 11 meetings between the two teams. So, it's just a trend. Also, the Raptors 2-8 against the spread against the Celtics in the last 10 meetings. So, I'm gonna go. I'll PP it. I thought I'd get it's 220 right now. Let me just double check at the old pickles.
221.
Wow. why it's rising, huh?
Yep, still going up.
And again, I liked it at 217. And yeah, 220.5 at mine. Let's go under PP.
There you go. So there's so nice, some couple of PPs right off the bat. Joe, I looked at a bunch of hockey totals tonight. There were some I was very intrigued by. I didn't want to fall into the 5.5 over trap. I've been noticing a lot of these 5.5 lines, especially on puck, have gone under recently. There's a lot of them. I like the Rangers Devils. I like the Rangers Devils over. That's sitting at 5.5. I'm going to be a little bitch boy and back out of that one. I like the Tampa Bay Chicago over. That's sitting at 5.5. I'm going to back out of that one. So, I mean, I am backing away from a lot of the totals tonight, Joe. At least in puck, it looks like we're going to have some very trappy lines, kind of everything going on there. But there is a side that I like, and I'll just give it out quickly. I very much like Toronto tonight in facing off versus Vancouver. I think they're the better team. I think that this line is low. So give me Toronto -1, -104. So the Leafs -1, -104.
I wouldn't touch it, but I like the Islanders. Just at -190, I wouldn't touch it. I just think Buffalo is bad right now, man. Dude, the Islanders are one of the hottest teams in hockey at the moment.
They're rolling, dude. They are absolutely fucking rolling.
You know who else is pretty good? Is Winnipeg right now. The same with Tampa. Tampa Bay and Chicago is actually a good matchup tonight. Both teams 7-3 their last 10, and I mean, I know it's not the old days, Chicago, Tampa Bay, but that's actually a pretty good matchup for the teams that are playing right now. But yeah, you get two good ones: Winnipeg, Montreal, if you want to call it that, and Tampa Bay, Chicago. If I liked anything on the ice tonight, it's the Islanders. My problem is I just wouldn't put up 190 to win 100. You can always take the 60 minutes. You can always do the puck line. I like them to win, and I'm just not going to bet it or PP it.
I'm taking the late game. I'm rolling with the Leafs. We gave out a couple NBA plays. Joe, is there anything you like in college basketball tonight? There are some very good matchups, and I know we're not trying to spend too much time on tonight's card, but just thought you would, if there's anything else you like tonight, we could discuss it. There's the Oklahoma State Baylor game, the Michigan State Michigan game, TCU West Virginia is on the board. There are some good games tonight if you're looking for that sort of thing.
All right, so this is going to be an unpopular opinion.
Texas Oklahoma too. How can I forget about that one?
Yep, I know you gave a pick out on that one earlier today.
Yep.
This is going to be an unpopular opinion. I'm going to ride it. Michigan -12 PP.
Oh, right.
Now, normally, right, Michigan State getting this kind of points. This is strictly Michigan at home off a loss for me against a team, Michigan State, that you don't know what they are. I think they get blown out tonight, and I think the line is what it is for a reason. And normally I hate these kind of big spreads, but last four meetings, home team's 4-0 against the spread. I'm going to ride it out, even though I know Michigan State has played much better of late. They've been inconsistent, but they've been played better. So PP on that one. And then this Oklahoma State team, dude, they don't die. Like getting 11.5, 12 points tonight, I'm not going to bet it. But if I was going to take a side, it would be Oklahoma State.
So I definitely agree with you. The Michigan game. This is a letdown spot for Michigan State coming off that win versus Indiana. They had that nice win versus Ohio State, and then kind of let down versus Maryland. I feel like this is a very similar spot. Oh, it's Michigan. It is slightly different because it is Michigan. It's not Indiana. But that being said, Michigan coming off that blowout loss, Illinois without Dunsumu. This is a rebound game for them. I like Michigan as well. I also like Baylor tonight. I think that the two big faves will cover in these games. I do think that Baylor is going to be playing some better defense. I lean towards the under 148 148.5, but I'm going to pass on that personally. But yeah, I mean, listen, those are two great games. You said we talked about the Texas Oklahoma game earlier. I'm going to go back. I'm going to PP that as well. Give me Oklahoma -2. Yeah, I think that they are the better team. In that one. By the way, we are not on the Raptors tonight. I don't know who said that. We are not on the Raptors tonight. Definitely not.
You said Toronto in the NHL.
Yes, Toronto was -1. Yes, the Toronto Maple Leafs -1, not the Toronto Raptors. All right.
I got one, Dan.
Yeah, hit me.
Oh, the good old Ohio Valley Conference, my man.
Oh man, are you going where I think you're going?
We got Murray State.
Okay, we're not going, thank God. Okay.
Versus Jacksonville State.
John Morant versus the old crew, Jacksonville State.
Murray State's not the team that they were years past. They're 3-point favorites tonight.
Yeah, I was actually shocked they opened as a 3-point favorite on a neutral court versus Jacksonville State. I thought Jacksonville State, when I was looking at this tournament, I thought Jacksonville State would be a nice sleeper to get some money on. Murray State at -3. It reminds me of that Montana line a couple weeks last week, dude, where, again, this is a neutral site game, so it's not the exact same, but it does feel that way.
I'm feeling a Jacksonville State plus the 3.
Oh,
I'm feeling it.
You PP in it?
I'm feeling it.
All right, give it to him. Jacksonville State plus 3.
And I'm fading my guys.
You are.
But this
is dangerous.
I just think Murray State's down this year.
Last time you faded your guys a couple tournaments ago, it didn't go super well for you. Hopefully a little rebound for Murray tonight.
Yeah,
a little rebound for Murray on Murray on Murray crime tonight.
I had that one circled since 7:00 this morning.
It's a little Murray on Murray crime, man.
Yep. And then I don't even know, like, Iowa's playing tonight, and I feel like they wouldn't be able to cover that 17.5 the way they've been playing. I don't know. So that's all I got for tonight.
All right, cool. Well, we banged out 15 minutes there. On the Thursday slate. Let's jump into Friday. Joe, where would you like to begin? Because we could start with NBA All-Star Weekend. We discussed the odds this morning on Toucher and Rich, so we can do those briefly. There's no NBA games tomorrow. We could start with the Friday college basketball card. A lot of tournament play, a lot of games, a lot of lines already out. Some obviously not out, but a lot of lines are already out. And or we could go NHL. We could start puck. What are you feeling?
I guess let's do college because, the Bonnies and Duquesne are playing at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Bonnies are good this year, man. 13-4, 8-1 at home. Taking on Duquesne, who's been inconsistent but puts up a lot of points. I don't have a line on this one yet.
Yeah, there is no line. Duquesne pulled the upset on Richmond today, Joe. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that. And normally, when that had, like, UMass, for example, smoked who they play.
UMass played St. Joe's.
Yeah, St. Joe's won yesterday in an upset. So, I feel like the team that upsets, you got to fade them the next day. So I like the Bonnies. I think they're probably going to be 6.5, 7-point favorites. I like the Bonnies in that spot.
Yeah, Richmond opened as 6-point favorites. It closed at 3.5. I would suspect Bonnie is probably 6.5, 7 around that line. They may get up to 8, honestly, Joe, depending on, it is in Richmond, so maybe Richmond had some home court advantage and inflated into their spread. But St. Bonaventure has been very, very good. Duquesne, not a good free throw shooting team. They're not. Another 1:00 game. UMass St. Louis, obviously no line on this one either. As UMass just won today. I would be looking at St. Louis to roll this team. However, St. Louis has really struggled down the stretch here, Joe. And UMass, they haven't played as many games as you thought, but they've started to pick up their play. St. Louis down the stretch, losers of 2 of their last 4. They did beat UMass the other day handedly, 78-57. That being said, against some better competition on the road, which, I always kind of say road is more of a neutral site game, or neutral is more of a road type game. They lost to Dayton badly by 23 and lost to VCU by 2. Again, I like St. Louis, obviously just crushed UMass the other day. UMass is getting their shot at redemption here after beating St. Joe's. So let's see what happens. This is good. This is going to be an interesting game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just to kind of skim through a little bit here, Liberty's having a hell of a year. They play North Alabama. They have 21 wins so far. I've watched Sacramento State play before. They're not good, but I in that tournament, I remember last year they hung around. Indiana State's going to be a big favorite. They take on Evansville. We know the story with Evansville. They lost their coach and Walter McCarty, and they've been just undermanned all year long. And
I mean that is a quarterfinal game in the MVC, Joe. So this is a sizable game, to be honest with you. These two teams did play earlier in the season. Evansville lost outright twice. At home, lost by 6 versus Indiana State. On the road, lost by 6 as well. Lost by 14 on the road. Evansville got their shit handed to them by Indiana State twice. Indiana State opens as a 5.5 point favorite now.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking? What is your feeling on that? To me, I feel like
I think
it opened Indiana State minus 6.5. Actually, it's down to 5.5.
I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but tired legs, dude. I played defense early on, and I go under 135 off top of my head. But I just think this is an Indiana State game.
I look at Evansville. They finally got a win, but before that, they had lost 7 straight games to literally Loyola, Indiana State, Drake, and Missouri State. They could not buy a win. Could not buy a single win. Finally got a win versus Missouri State in the tournament. Now they're heading to face on Indiana State. I find it very hard to. I'm sure the sharp side is going to be Evansville in that one, but Indiana State looks to be like the right side. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, Joe. A lot of points.
Yeah, and just later on, there's some true gambles. Boston College plays Miami. Miami at 2.5 vomit. I want nothing to do with that game. And then there's some other games, Manhattan, Fairfield. I'm sure some people love love that tournament. Got Buffalo's a 5-point favorite at Kent State. And there's money in these conferences.
So we do have some breaking news here. Villanova's Connor Gillespie done for the season with a torn MCL.
Wow.
So that means he is done for the tournament as well. I mean, you could pretty much rip up your Nova futures at this point. Nova's not win. I mean, Nova was talented, but they couldn't put it all together pretty much at all this year. And now without Gillespie, who is their best player, their second best player, arguably, they're not winning anything. Unfortunately. So that is a big blow to Nova's chances this year. Let's kind of go through some of this Friday card here, Joe, some of these games. Idaho State, Eastern Washington. This is a really big spread here. Eastern Washington's a 12-point home favorite. Now they're first in the Big Sky. They've been very good. They finally lost a game to Idaho State at home by 5 a couple of days ago. Now they open up as 12-point favorites in the first round of the tournament, Joe. Or sorry, I guess this is not a tournament game. This is a back-to-back game. I apologize. So they lose by 5. They open up as 12-point favorites after winning what seemingly like forever. They won 9 straight games. Again, as I said, did lose to Idaho State last time they played by 5 at home. I mean, do you have any feel in this game, Joe? Because I mean, the rebound says take Eastern Washington and, lay the points here.
Well, Eastern Washington's had a good squad for years. I've actually covered some games. We've talked about a few of them so far this year. But, yeah, just the fact that Eastern Washington's 11-3 in the Big Sky, they should be favored. They're probably going to get the money on this one. That's really all I got for you. I mean, if me betting blind, it'd be them.
Okay. Yeah, we have some shit games in the MAC. A little Northern Illinois, Central Michigan action. That is disgusting. Western Carolina Citadel. That is a SoCon first round game, and let me tell you, the Citadel, well, they've had a really bad year in the SoCon. Quietly has been a covering machine. They continue to cover these ridiculous spreads constantly, even though they can't win these fucking games. They've lost back-to-back games on the road at Mercer, at Furman. It's been pretty gross. The last few games out there, but they did have a nice win at VMI at home. Before that, this is a neutral site game in Asheville. Any feelings on this one, Joe? Because I look at Western Carolina laying the 2 here. I think that's the right side as well. I think that Western Carolina with the 2 over the Citadel. I like this Western Carolina team. They've been playing better. The Catamounts have been, they struggled really, really badly later in the season. I think they lost something like 12 of their last 15 or 16 games, something like that. For the last 2 games, they've played very well. A big win versus Mercer, a win versus Greensboro as well after coming off a loss, home versus Greensboro. They won on the road. I'm thinking this Western Carolina team is playing better, Joe.
I've been fading the Citadel in every sport for years, besides in the first half versus Alabama's. So that's it. That's all I got on that one. Give me Western Carolina as a 2-point favorite. Despite Citadel having a better record in the SoCon Valley.
Interesting. All right. Let's move on to the Sun Belt here. 6:00, Georgia Southern in the first round versus Arkansas State. Obviously neutral site game in Pensacola, Florida. So definitely not a home game for either of these teams.
I like Georgia Southern, but Arkansas State's favorite.
Yeah, so Arkansas State opens as a 1.5-point favorite. These two teams did not play each other in the conference this year. No Sun Belt games against each other, which is interesting. So first time they're facing Arkansas State. Georgia Southern. I mean, I thought that Georgia Southern started to struggle down the stretch here. They lost, 4 of their last 6 and 8 of their last 9 here. So, 4 of the last 6 and 6 of the last 9, they struggled down the stretch. Arkansas State, meanwhile, who struggled early, really rebounded before losing the final 3 games of the season. But they put together a 4-game win streak before losing to Texas State and a couple road games at Texas Arlington. What are you thinking here, Joe? You said you like Georgia Southern.
I watched them play a couple of games this year. They have the better record. We know when it comes to these tournament games, they try to, they're getting money to put on both sides. So people are going to take favorites. Like, I just feel like when you in these situations, people want to bet money. They think the favorite's the best way to go here when they don't realize that Georgia Southern was the better team in that conference this year. Again, I don't know who's been playing better of late, but from my eyes this year, Georgia Southern has been a decent team, especially in that conference.
They have. They've definitely fallen off lately. I don't know if it's the schedule or the road game because they've been playing more games on the road. They've definitely fallen off. This is a game away from these teams kind of struggling their play right now. I have no interest in playing either one of them, to be perfectly honest with you. I think I'm going to stay off that game completely. At least for right now. I would look under in that game, actually, to be honest with you. I think both those teams struggling does equal a chance for some defense. Joe, you talked about that BC-Miami game. BC coming off getting their dicks kicked in, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. They got wrecked by Florida State, lost by 29 off that upset win at home versus Notre Dame on Saturday, which we actually talked about that one on the show. Now, Miami here, they're not doing much better. The losers of 6 straight. Really, these games have not been close. That Clemson game on the road was somewhat close, but what are you thinking in this one, Joe? Because I feel like maybe this is a chance for Miami to get back on track versus a team that really sucks. I like Miami in this spot here.
So I like Miami too. I think BC's, cashing it in. It's going to be the last time a lot of these kids play together. They're probably going to transfer out. There's going to be a new coach coming in next year. Like, BC's, I think, ready to hang it up, dude. And I know Miami didn't play to their expectations this year, but there is talent on that basketball team. They have a good coach. So I think they're going to have them ready, gearing up for the ACC tournament. I think the number is right though, because like Miami's not world beaters. They're not going to come out and blow you away. So I think the line's right, but I think Miami wins in the end.
I think Miami is a better team at home. Now, again, they have been terrible this year. What were they? I think they were 3-15 in the ACC. The ACC was pretty tough. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, it wasn't an elite conference by any means, but there was some good depth in that conference, and Miami is definitely a bottom tier team. The loss at Wake Forest sticks out to me. It was on the road. They lost to BC earlier this year on the road. This just feels like a get right type game for Miami. Not that it really matters. It is the final game of the season for both these teams. At least before the ACC tournament. I don't know if they're in the ACC tournament, even if they were, who gives a fuck? They're going to lose first round. But to be honest with you, I'm going to take the crappy home side. Give me Miami -2.5 PP. So
there you go.
It's disgusting. It's gross. But it's I'm fading BC. They just look so terrible on the road. They're just a different team, man.
I know we're moving all around the card here. I think there are a couple of games like Old Dominion, Western Kentucky's a good old battle there. Two teams above 500, good in their conference. Western Kentucky 7.5. I watched Western Kentucky play the other day. They lost. Who was it? They hung in there. They played a top program. Oregon, Baylor. I forget who it was. Who did Western Kentucky play the other day?
I'll pull up their schedule here. They lost to Houston.
Houston, that's who it was. Houston could have played Gonzaga. They blew it off to play Western Kentucky, and they manhandled them. But Western Kentucky played well. They're a good team. So they're highly favored in this one. I think they win this game convincingly. I'm not going to PP it, but it's in Kentucky. They had that test against Houston, but I think they can beat the teams that are in their conference. That's a good game. That's a good game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with you there. These are a couple. I mean, these are some of the best Conference USA teams, in the entire conference. I believe that they're 1-2 in the Eastern Division of the Conference USA. This series, because it's a back-to-back, this series is for the Eastern Conference USA title. And I assume that they'll end up playing a tournament, but this is important to get that number one seed on the East side. Because especially you don't want to play Marshall. You want to play whoever wins to the West, and then there's really the West is much deeper. But these are the two best teams. Western Kentucky being 7.5 point favorites is a little bit much for me. I might lay that on the second go around. They're playing back to backs here. Maybe in the second game, I'm looking for a potential fade in the first game and then lay it maybe Saturday. So let's see what happens in the first game. I'm interested to see those two teams here. All right, let's get back to I want to get back to a good MAC game here, Joe. Kent State Buffalo. I faded Buffalo Saturday. Basically told you how they've been playing like shit and hadn't beat a good MAC team at all. They demolished Ohio, beat them by 20, and then followed up with a 2-point win versus Akron. Now, they were murdering Akron, and they fell apart in that second half. Kent State lost at Ball State, but rebounded with a nice win at Miami, Ohio. Third straight road game, another road game on the road at Buffalo. Buffalo 5-point favorite in this one. I feel like Buffalo is the right side here, Joe. To me, this is the normal type game where I'd say I look for the home side, laying a decent sized number against a good team. I don't like this Buffalo team. I'm not going to lay it, but I do lean Buffalo in this game.
Underdog 8-3 against the spread last 11 meetings. Road team 4-1 against spread the last 5 meetings. They're both playing well. They're both playing good against the spread. Both 8-2 in their last 10 games. This is a battle. I think the underdog might have some action here, but to your point, 3 straight road games. It's hard to beat. I think Buffalo wins at the end of the game. He covers.
Another MAC game. Ohio goes on the road to Bowling Green. Bowling Green and Ohio battling out in the MAC for that mid-conference standing right there. They're Bowling Green's a game back. This is a weird one for me. Bowling Green is a pick 'em at home. This is a game I think that you can't play. It's Bowling Green or bust, in my opinion. In the conference, I think you have to roll Bowling Green with the way that they've been playing down the stretch. Now, they had a bad stretch there where they lost 6 in a row, but they've rebounded, Joe. They've won 4 of their last 5, including a big win at Toledo. A couple of big wins have all been on the road at Toledo, at Ball State, at Eastern Michigan, and at Akron, coming off a loss versus Miami, Ohio. You know what? Fuck it. Give me Bowling Green money off PK, PP. Give me Bowling Green.
Holy crap! I just saw the inactive list for the Raptors tonight, dude. Holy! Did you see that?
I have not. No.
Siakam. I think there was 6 guys. Siakam, Malachi Flynn, OG Anunoby. So I already said Siakam, right?
Is Lowry out?
No.
And the whole team is out tonight. I mean, seriously, the whole team is out tonight. Like it's ridiculous. I can't bet the Celtics though. I can't do it. It's too many, even with the Celtics. Too many. By the way, Kyle Lowry, interestingly enough, Joe, you want to hear something interesting? Did sell his Toronto home for $5.1 million. So is Kyle Lowry a name that you might see move around the trade deadline? There has been some smoke with that.
Yeah. I don't want it in Boston, but yeah, and I know he's a nice fit. He is. I just nope, no, thank you. Go. He'll. Who knows? Who needs probably a guard at some point? Maybe the Clippers. By the way, I thought Paul George was so good in that game, and at the end of the game, like, what the fuck? That's why they need Kawhi late.
I mean, they need someone else, man.
But I will say this, like I've mentioned this before, like I think Paul George is an elite player. But what I don't know, forgive me, but I can't remember him making an impact play late in games.
So he struggles on the stretch, and he has, especially in the playoffs. It feels like his whole career. Yeah, I mean, he really struggled. All right, let's get back to some college basketball. A few more good games here, and then we'll move on. Georgia Tech on the road. I guess not on the road because I mean it is in Winston-Salem. But Georgia Tech facing off versus Wake Forest, ACC game. Wake hosting
Georgia Tech all day. They're just a better team right now, right? Don't you think?
I mean, Georgia Tech is definitely the better team. There's no doubt about that. I mean, and they've been playing really, really good ball. Yeah, 5 straight wins. They're trying to play their way into a tournament. The question is, do they cover 10?
Yeah.
Wake has lost the last 6 in a row. Lost 7 of the last 8. Their only win on the road at BC. They seemingly cannot score at this point. 39 points at home versus Clemson, 46 on the road at Virginia Tech, 57 on the road at Pitt. Give me I mean, you have to lean the under there initially, 138.
Well, they're 6-0 against the spread the last 6 games overall. I'd probably just let go and lay the 9.5, man. I don't know about a total in this one. It's like, I don't know. I'd kind of lay off the total in this one,
I guess.
But the under is 7-3 in the Yellow Jackets' last 10 versus teams with a losing record.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. A couple more games here, and then we'll move on to some puck and maybe some NBA. Little Rock, Arkansas on neutral site game, Sun Belt Conference game, conference tournament game. I mean, facing off against Appalachian State. This is a pick'em. I mean, This is the first time these two teams are going to play each other. Obviously, different sides of the Sun Belt. There, to me, this is the type of game where maybe you look at the better conference, or at least the better side of the conference, which I think was the West with Texas State and Louisiana and even UT Arlington, Arkansas State, and I'd say Little Rock to me is probably a better team than what App State is. I'm feeling trigger happy, Joe. Give me Little Rock PP. Little Rock PK PP. I like that spot for them against a team who might have a better record, but probably has faced a little bit worse competition in the conference.
Okay, couple more games there. How about Nevada, Colorado State?
Yeah, this one is certainly interesting. I was surprised at the opener. I know it's a home game for Nevada, but they have not been nearly as good as Colorado State has. I mean, Colorado State has just been fucking dynamite this year. They're not playing 2 games this year. They're only playing 1. This is just a one and done to end the season in Mountain West. Now, it's a pretty big game for Colorado State. Here's why. If Colorado State wins this game, they actually move ahead of San Diego State in the Mountain West for first place in the Mountain West. San Diego State, on the other hand, well, they're done with their season schedule. So if Colorado State wins this game, they win the Mountain West. They lose this game, they actually drop to 3rd in the Mountain West behind Utah State after splitting the 1-1 there. I mean, it's a pickup right now. It's probably super square, but it feels like this has got to be Colorado State or nothing.
Oh, see, I like Nevada.
You like Nevada? Okay, yeah. I don't want anything to do with this one. Want nothing to do with this one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
All right, let's wrap up with college basketball. Utah Valley versus your boys, Grand Canyon, in the WAC. These are the two teams that have really been fantastic in the WAC this year, Joe. Honestly, Grand Canyon home, they're first in the WAC. This is a big game. Utah Valley is a half game behind them. They have a back-to-back here with Utah Valley at home, hosting them twice. And right now, Grand Canyon -9. Big spread in this
one. All I can tell you is Utah Valley 7-3 against the spread last 10. So they might be worth the 9 points here.
Yeah, Utah Valley's playing well though. 4-2 in their last 6. Grand Canyon has struggled a little bit. 2-2 in their last 4. Lost on the road at Seattle and home versus Cal Bakersfield in a game that they probably should have won pretty easy. I'm gonna pass on this game and see what happens. Maybe on the Saturday split. Let's see the result tomorrow, and then maybe I'll play the Saturday game. I don't think I want to touch the Friday game of this series, but definitely a late night game to watch between those two.
All right, let's go to the ice, Dan. Friday night.
Okay.
So there's 7:00 game. Boston Bruins, 140 favorites versus Washington. Off the bat, the Washington's been profitable in the series forever, especially this year. Totals at 6, considering what it ended 2-1 the other night. There might be more scoring. I think the game's going to be more physical. The Ovechkin stuff, things to that degree. I wonder who we'll see in net. Probably Tuukka. But I just see -140 Bruins. I know it's back-to-back at home. I just think Washington's good, man. Like, if they're getting plus money, they're the better, hotter team right now. Plus money's Washington, but a high 6, ooh, I like the under.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely lean that way with the under as well, especially with the game. This game is in Boston, correct?
Yes, both games this week in Boston.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the Capitals to beat them. I know the Bruins have actually fared decently well in the series compared to in the last few matchups compared to how they've actually done. But they won 5-3 earlier in the year, right? I think that was February. Um, but I mean, still, this is Washington is a team that owns the Bruins, owns their ass. I'm assuming Rass starts, and if Rass does start, which I mean, it's my guess, maybe they give Halak a game. This is a big game for them. Um, I still like the Caps in this one. I lean that way, and I lean the under too.
And I hate to say this, but Colorado is minus 255. I mean, the Ducks suck right now. They're the worst team in hockey. I would never put up 255, Dan. So is it any value in Anaheim in an upset?
I mean, personally, this is not a game I have any interest in playing. I can tell you it's going to be a big public favorite. I would probably play a total in this one before I play a side. I have no interest in betting either of these teams, especially at that price. I don't think the Ducks are valuable even at home. There's no home ice. It really doesn't mean shit right now.
Yep, I agree with that. Yeah, that's the biggest play on the board. And again, there's that rematch, Tampa Bay, Chicago, depending on what happens on tonight. And then Vegas has been hot. Another team.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to be looking at the Arizona Minnesota total tomorrow at 5.5. I think that's low. I think there's going to be 6 goals in that game. I'm not going to PP it just yet, but especially with Cooper's status, we don't know if he's going to play for the Yotes, and it just feels like this is a chance for. A lower total to kind of be played there, at least in my opinion. Also, we a couple more hockey games tomorrow night. The Blackhawks and Lightning play tonight, so they'll be doing a back-to-back in Tampa. I mean, the line's already out for this game. Tampa opens at minus 200. The total's at 6. I want to see what happens tonight in this game, but I still think that Tampa minus 1.5 is pretty much, or at least the team total over, is pretty much routine against the Blackhawks. They dominate that team, and it feels like they always have. Now, I know that Chicago got one over on them earlier last year, but outside of that, Tampa Bay's won they won, I think, like 7 straight or something stupid like that before that game. It's just like I hate betting Chicago in this spot. I pretty much want to bet Tampa minus 1.5 every single time that these two teams play. And they just own that ass. They just own that ass. I don't know what it is. They just do.
Okay.
Oh,
that's it for the hockey.
Right? We got 2 more games there. Kings Blues. Let me just pull this up here. So this is a game the Kings have actually owned the recent series. They've won the last 3 straight, played a couple times this year. St. Louis opens as the favorite here. I like the Blues there as well. I think the Blues probably should be the favorite in that game, especially Binghamton plays. He went on a rampage in that. And then San Jose hosts Vegas. And this is a big one because I mean, these two teams just seemingly fucking hate each other, but this is another series where one team is just getting fucking owned, and San Jose is just owned. Now, I will say there's going to be a shitload of money coming in on Vegas on this one. The total is 6. I'm probably going to stay away from the total. It's square, but Vegas minus 1.5. Again, it's just one of those matchups. I feel like you either have to take the fave or nothing. So,
okay. Anything else, bud?
Nope. That's it for the hockey card. Do you want to jump into the NBA because we do have some NBA All-Star Weekend odds if you want?
Yeah. I figured we can get. I'm going to give out my pick Saturday. There's a skills competition which will be in the pregame, and then there's the game itself, and then at halftime there'll be the slam dunk contest and the 3-point contest. Slam dunk contest features only 3 players. Obi Toppin is one of them. The kid Chauncey was at Duke. He's a two-way player. And who's the other one? Jennings?
It's Toppin, Anthony Simmons, and Cassius Stanley.
Yeah, Cassius Stanley played at Duke. I know that. He can dunk, by the way.
You're right. Cassius Stanley played at Duke. I was thinking he played at Michigan State for a minute there. Got confused. Yeah, exactly. I have no interest in the slam dunk contest. I won't be betting it. I don't think there's anything there. I talked about the 3-point contest this morning on Toucher and Rich. I said I would take Devin Booker plus 500 in the 3-point contest there, at least me personally. And then the NBA skills contest, the guys like Julius Randle, because he's having a good year. I would rather take Sabonis at plus 400. Sabonis feels like a guy who is just he can do a little bit of everything, man. He's very naturally skilled at pretty much everything he does. It does like we don't really have an NBA card, but we can kind of go over these. And I guess, Joe, you can give your picks this weekend.
Yeah, I'll give picks on Saturday. I got picks. I'm gonna give out picks. I'm probably gonna bet everything. And then the other thing I'm gonna do is there's 3 UFC championship fights, so I'm probably gonna give those out on Saturday. There are plenty of college basketball games on Saturday.
Yeah, there's a ton. We'll have a fuckload to talk about on Saturday.
No NBA, of course, because of the All-Star weekend.
Right.
There will be hockey on Saturday night, so I'll probably have some plays for you there. And then baseball is starting to heat up. I don't really want to get into it today, Dan, but I think we talked about this, but maybe it's worth staying away from win totals. But maybe division winners might be where something to take a look at, like who will win the division. Because, I mean, for the most part, I think we know who the best are, but hey, every year a team comes out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, we'll get more into baseball. Maybe next week we'll do a legitimate baseball preview. Maybe we'll extend the pod for half an hour, 45 minutes, and do a baseball preview there. I've just been diving into all my fantasy shit with my fantasy stuff coming up, and obviously fantasy and betting is always correlated. So it's nice to be able to to kind of put 2 and 2 together. I think next week would be a good week, or maybe the week afterwards, but I probably should be not. We don't want to wait too long, but
when there's March Madness, so
exactly. So you don't want to wait too long, for that. So maybe we'll do that next week. Maybe we'll open it up to some questions here, and we'll end the pod early, but we'll open up some questions. I know Nelson asked about some soccer plays. There's just so much going on. I'm busy at work. Joe and I we're working guys. We don't work in radio. Unfortunately, because of that, we're busy, man. Unfortunately, there's just not enough hours in the day to do everything. So I have not run any soccer stuff recently, but I will try and kind of get everything. You got to talk Fred off Cleveland and the Cardinals. I don't have any interest in talking him off the Indians. I mean, trading Lindor is one thing, but they were a very good team without Lindor last year. And Jose Ramirez, to me, just feels like a guy who's ready to explode. I know he struggled a couple years ago, but he's rebounded in a big way. Shane Bieber, to me, is one of the top 3 to 5 pitchers in the league. I like Aaron Savali. I really like everything that they have going on in Cleveland. And I think that division, Kansas City sucks to me still. Minnesota, it feels like it's going to be really hard to repeat their performance. Chicago White Sox, they're banking on so many young kids. So we see what happens there. We'll get into this deeper next week. And, and Detroit, again, it's a lot of kids, a lot of kids.
Dan, someone asked dark horses for the tournament. I'm looking in the Pac-12, man.
I got to see who the fuck gets in. How the fuck do I know who's in the tournament right now?
Well, I think USC and UCLA are 2 teams I like a lot. Now, USC has the Mobley brothers, but I think one of them is one and done. UCLA has a nice little team and well coached. There's someone I'd look at, but again, neutral sites. UCLA is a home team, so that's one thing I look at. And Missouri surprised me last night, beating Florida. I thought Florida with that win over Kentucky might have rode them going into the SEC. So I don't know. Those are a couple that I have in mind for dark horses.
All right, can I give you one more play for tonight? I've been debating it in my mind. I think I'm just going to give it out. Give me a Baylor minus 11.5.
Wow,
I'm gonna lay the points of Baylor tonight.
I just think Oklahoma State, dude. I've watched their last 3 games where they play Oklahoma really tight. They beat somebody outright. From what I remember, they've been playing better. Not to mention, dude, they're fighting because they have a ban this year from making the tournament, where they have 6 days to find out if they're going to make it or not. So they need to clear house. So and not to mention Cade Cunningham is just rising and rising, man. Baylor did not the COVID thing got Baylor. It got them, but again, I think we call it Kansas is they're a better team right now than they were at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought Baylor on the road at Kansas, they struggled, and they've struggled, the past few games. But to me, this is a get right game in a buy low, sell high spot for Oklahoma State, where they've won 3 straight against ranked teams in Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and the Sooners again. Now they're on the road against a team who is coming off a big win versus West Virginia, and a home game now. This is a get right spot. This is your tune up, for the conference tournament. You finish with Texas Tech, who's, in my opinion, not even in the same conversation as Oklahoma State in terms of just the way that they're playing right now. Oklahoma State on the road back to back here, Baylor and West Virginia. It's really it's a brutal schedule to finish. I don't care. I'm taking Baylor, baby. I'm taking Baylor. I think I'm liking the number. So all right. So why don't we go over quickly? I guess there's a few other questions here. Are you guys going to go over conference tourney futures? We can go over some Saturday. To be honest with you, I haven't found a lot of value in conference tourney futures because there is so much inconsistent play this year that getting home road splits for me has been harder to determine value on teams. So I'm not playing a lot of conference tourney futures, and I'm not playing hard. Alternate lines, we can talk about that a different day. It depends on the sport.
It's funny somebody mentioned that alternative lines. For example, if you like the ACC, Duke might be a play. They suck. I don't think they're going to make a tournament. I don't think Duke's going to make the tournament. I don't think they're going to win the ACC. But as a long shot, is it worth putting $25 on it? Maybe, because that's the only way they're getting in, Dan.
No, they're right on the precipice. So they're one of the first 4 out right now, Joe. So
I think they're out.
Well, we'll say. I think if they win a couple games in the tournament, they will make it, because they obviously want Duke, and Duke sells names, big name team.
Yeah,
you know how it is with the committee and everything. So
but imagine Duke versus Houston in the first round. They'd probably get wiped.
Yeah, they'll get fucking waxed. Yeah, that game would not be close. All right, I think that's it for me. Do you have anything else, Joe?
That is it.
Would you want to go over what we gave out in terms of picks for tonight?
Yeah, I think my picks were the under 220.5 or 220, well, whatever it is, 220.5 Celtics. I took Michigan minus 12. Was there something else I took?
I'm trying to remember if you did. I think you took Jacksonville State.
Oh, and Jacksonville State plus 3.
Yeah. I gave out a bunch in this podcast. I probably went a little pee happy. It's probably going to come back to bite me in the ass. But okay, here's what I did. I had Baylor minus 11.5. Yeah, it's a big number. I'm taking it. I had Oklahoma minus 2 as well. I don't think I had anything else in college basketball tonight. I don't think I did. I had the Clippers and Wizards over 236. And I had the Toronto Maple Leafs minus 1. So that's what I got for tonight. For the other podcasts, you're going to have to to go in, re-listen to the podcast to get our plays for Friday. Sound good?
All right, that's it. We'll have a loaded show on Saturday for sure. I'm ready on Thursday nights now. I'm in my bunker. I don't know if anybody can see behind me. I'm in my real bunker. I got all my stuff back here. I got 3 computers, Dan. I got a Mac laptop, my laptop, and my other laptop. I got connections so I can get all 3 going at once, dude. I could be like Dr. Dre or P. Diddy back here, man. Just like, just going crazy.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying your new studio and you're dip setting out.
Yeah, it's swinging. I'm swinging it all over the place, everybody. All right, Dan. Well, it's 6:55. I guess we'll call it a little early tonight. We got the Celtics at 7. Wow, huh?
Yep.
That sounds familiar.
I know, right?
So that's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. I will download this broadcast. I will email it to Dan. He will pop it up. He'll put what we talked about every segment because that's what the boss said to do.
Yep.
So we're gonna do that tonight.
Yep.
And we will be back on Saturday morning. This has been another edition of the Over Under 985 podcast.
Who you got?